Do you stop at reading? Do you underline a sentence, maybe think about it for a while, and then move on? If you do, then something important gets missed in that pause. Because reading on its own is only half the experience. The other half is what you do with what you've read. Whether you let it pass through you or whether you respond to it. This is where writing changes everything. Not writing as a summary, not writing as a review, but writing as a response, a continuation, an answer to a letter of sorts. When you read something that stays with you, it's not random. It's touching something that was already present in you. Maybe something you hadn't fully looked at yet, or something you didn't have language for. And if you leave it there, that moment fades. But if you write after reading, you stay with it longer. You give it space to expand. There's a reason many writers have always kept notebooks alongside their reading. Franz Kafka wrote in fragments, often responding to what he was reading and experiencing at the same time. Anais Nin treated her journals as a living conversation, not separate from what she read but shaped by it. Because they understood something simple. Reading opens something. Writing is how you stay inside it. Without writing, you consume. With writing, you participate. And that participation is what makes literature personal. In bibliotherapy, this is where the real work happens. Not in finding the right book, but in allowing what you read to interact with your own inner world. Not passively, actively. And that doesn't require effort in the way people imagine. It requires attention. After you read something, even a few lines, you pause. And instead of asking, what did this mean? You ask something closer. Why did this stay with me? What did this touch in me? You don't have to give perfect answers. You just have to be honest with yourself. You begin writing from that point. Even something simple, like, this line made me uncomfortable, but I don't know why. That's enough, that's a start. Because you've moved from reading into relationship, and that relationship deepens over time. You begin to notice patterns in what you've drawn to. Certain themes, certain emotional tones, and slowly, reading becomes less about finishing books and more about understanding yourself through them. That's what makes this practice powerful. Not because it gives you answers immediately, but because it builds awareness over time. And that awareness is what changes how you relate to yourself. If you think about it, most people read with a closed loop. They take something in, and that's where it ends. But when you write in response, you create an open loop. Something continues, and that continuation is where insight begins. It's not forced, it's allowed. So maybe the question isn't, am I reading enough? Maybe it's, what am I doing with what I read after I close the book? And if you want to try this in a simple way, here are a few things you can do. The next time you read something that stays with you, pause, don't rush to the next page. Take a notebook and try one of these. Write the line that stayed with you and then continue it in your own words. Or write, this reminds me of, and let whatever comes, come. Or even just, I don't fully understand why this stayed with me, but, and see where it leads you. You don't need more than a few minutes, but those few minutes change how deeply the reading stays with you. I'm curious, do you usually stop at reading? Or have you tried writing back to what you read? And if you have, what changed for you when you did? Because sometimes the most important part of reading isn't what you take in, it's what you allow to come out of you afterward.